Have you ever opened your phone just to check something, and somehow ended up buying something you never planned to buy? Maybe it was a pair of shoes, a gadget, a piece of clothing, or something you saw for just a few seconds in a video. And the strangest part? At the moment you clicked buy, it felt completely reasonable. But a few hours later, you looked at the package and thought, why did I even buy this? That's the psychology of impulse buying. Your brain can turn a tiny moment of curiosity into a powerful urge to purchase, often before your logical thinking has time to catch up. And companies know exactly how to trigger that reaction. Bright discounts. Countdown timers. Only a few left. Free shipping. Personalized recommendations. Every little trigger can push you closer to a purchase. But here's the good news. You don't have to completely stop shopping. You just need to understand what your brain is doing before you click that buy button. Today, we're breaking down the psychology behind impulse buying, and the simple ways you can take back control. 1. The emotional trigger behind impulse buying. Most impulse purchases don't begin with a shopping list. They begin with a feeling. Maybe you're bored after a long day. Maybe you're stressed from work. Maybe you're scrolling through your phone and suddenly see something that looks exciting. And for a brief moment, your brain gets a little hit of anticipation. You imagine owning the product. You imagine how useful it could be. You imagine how much easier, happier, or more exciting your life might feel after buying it. And that imagination can be enough to create the urge to purchase. This is one of the biggest reasons impulse buying is so powerful. Your brain doesn't always wait until after you buy something to give you a reward. It can start rewarding you during the anticipation of the purchase. Think about the moment you discover something you really like online. You haven't bought it yet. You haven't even decided that you need it. But suddenly, you're reading the reviews. You're looking at different colors. You're watching videos about it. You're imagining yourself using it. And without realizing it, your attention has completely shifted toward the product. The product has become emotionally interesting. At this point, your logical brain might still be asking, do I actually need this? But another part of your brain is asking, how good would it feel to have it? And those are two very different questions. The first one is about necessity. The second one is about emotion. And when emotions become strong enough, they can make unnecessary purchases feel surprisingly logical. That's why people often say things like, I know I didn't need it, but I really wanted it. That sentence tells you something important. Impulse buying isn't always about being careless with money. Sometimes, it's about using shopping to change how you feel. Bored? Buy something. Stressed? Buy something. Feeling down? Maybe a new purchase will make you feel better. And when the purchase gives you a temporary emotional boost, your brain can learn a simple connection. I felt bad, then I bought something, and I felt better. That connection can become a habit. The next time you experience the same emotion, your brain may automatically remember shopping as a quick solution. And that is where impulse buying becomes more than a single purchase. It becomes a behavioral loop. So before you click buy, try asking yourself one question. Do I actually want this product? Or do I want to change how I feel right now? That 5-second pause can reveal whether you're making a decision or simply reacting to an emotion. 2. Your brain wants the reward now. Part 2. Your brain wants the reward now. Here's another reason impulse buying is so difficult to control. Your brain loves immediate rewards. Imagine you see a product online for $50. You could save that money. You could invest it. You could use it for something you actually need later. But none of those choices gives you an immediate emotional reward. Buying the product does. The moment you click buy, you get a feeling of progress. You made a decision. You're going to receive something new. And your brain can start anticipating that reward immediately. This is why online shopping can be especially dangerous for impulse buyers. You don't have to leave your house. You don't have to drive to a store. You don't even have to talk to another person. You see something. You click. You pay. And the entire process can happen in less than a minute. That speed matters. Because the less time there is between wanting something and getting it, the less opportunity your logical thinking has to intervene. Think about the difference between these two situations. In the first situation, you see a jacket online, put it in your cart, and have to wait 3 days before buying it. You have time to think. You might forget about it. You might realize you already own 5 similar jackets. You might decide that the money is better spent somewhere else. But in the second situation, the website says 20% off for the next 10 minutes. Suddenly, there is no time to think. Your brain focuses on the immediate reward. You're not thinking about the money you could save. You're thinking about the excitement of getting the deal. This is one reason discounts can be so psychologically powerful. A discount doesn't just make something cheaper. It can make buying feel like a reward. You may even feel proud of yourself for getting a good deal. And that feeling can hide the bigger question. Would I have bought this if there were no discount? That is a powerful test. Because if you only want the product when it is on sale, you may not actually want the product. You may want the feeling of winning the deal. So here's a simple way to fight this effect. Create a waiting period. For small purchases, wait 10 minutes. For larger purchases, wait 24 hours. Give your brain time to move from excitement back to evaluation. Because impulse buying thrives on speed. And sometimes, the easiest way to stop an impulse is simply to slow the decision down. 3. The shopping environment is designed to trigger you. Here's something most people don't realize. Impulse buying isn't only about self-control. The environment around you can influence how easily you make an impulsive decision. Think about how shopping apps are designed. You open the app and immediately see colorful products, attractive images, discounts, recommendations, reviews, countdowns, and notifications. There is almost always something new competing for your attention. And your brain is naturally attracted to novelty. A new product creates curiosity. A flashing discount creates urgency. A notification creates a reason to check. A recommendation makes you wonder if you might be missing something. None of these things individually seems very powerful. But put them together, and they create an environment where buying becomes incredibly easy. You don't have to search for something you need. The product comes looking for you. This is especially powerful because your brain has limited attention. When something is visually attractive or emotionally interesting, it can capture that attention before your logical thinking has a chance to evaluate it. Imagine you open your phone just to check one message. Then you see a short video. The video shows a product. The product has thousands of reviews. There is a discount. The seller says the offer ends tonight. And underneath it, there is a button that says, "Buy now." You didn't start with the intention of shopping. But the environment gradually moved you toward a purchase. That's the important part. Impulse buying often happens through a sequence of tiny decisions. Watch. Click. Explore. Add to cart. Check out. Each step feels small. But together, they create a powerful behavioral path. So if you want to control impulse buying, don't rely only on willpower. Change the environment. Turn off unnecessary shopping notifications. Remove saved payment information when possible. Unfollow accounts that constantly trigger purchases. And most importantly, don't browse shopping apps when you're bored. Because sometimes the strongest shopping trigger isn't the product. It's simply the moment when your brain is looking for something interesting to do. Make the environment less tempting. And suddenly, controlling your spending becomes much easier. 4. The more you see it, the more you want it. There is another psychological effect that makes impulse buying surprisingly powerful. Familiarity. The more often you see something, the more familiar it becomes. And familiar things can start to feel safer, more trustworthy, and more attractive. This is why you might see the same product once and completely ignore it. Then you see it again tomorrow. Then again in another video. Then someone you follow recommends it. Then it appears in your shopping feed. Eventually, you start thinking, maybe I actually need this. But here's the interesting part. Your original desire may not have changed. Your exposure changed. The product has simply become familiar. This is especially powerful online because algorithms can repeatedly show you products based on your previous behavior. You watch a video about a pair of headphones. Then you see another video about those headphones. Then you see a review. Then another creator uses them. Then the same product appears in your recommendations. After seeing it 10 or 20 times, it no longer feels like a random product. It feels familiar. And your brain often interprets familiarity as a signal that something is worth paying attention to. That doesn't mean every recommendation is manipulating you. But repeated exposure can make it harder to distinguish between genuine interest and learned familiarity. Think about a song you disliked the first time you heard it. After hearing it several times, you might suddenly start enjoying it. The same basic principle can influence products. The more often something enters your attention, the easier it becomes for your brain to process. And things that are easy to process can sometimes feel more appealing. This creates a dangerous little loop. You see a product. You become familiar with it. Familiarity creates interest. Interest makes you click. Clicking tells the algorithm you are interested. The algorithm shows it to you again. And the cycle continues. So here's a simple way to break that loop. When you suddenly feel like you need something you've been seeing everywhere, ask yourself, did I want this before I started seeing it repeatedly? If the answer is no, give yourself some distance. Close the app. Wait a day. And see if you still want it when the product is no longer sitting directly in front of your eyes. Because sometimes, you don't want the product. You just got used to seeing it. 5. How to take back control of impulse buying. Now we come to the most important part. Understanding impulse buying is useful. But understanding it doesn't automatically stop you from doing it. You need a system that gives your logical brain time to catch up with your emotional brain. And the first step is surprisingly simple. Create friction. Make impulsive purchases slightly harder. Remove your saved payment information. Turn off shopping notifications. Unfollow accounts that constantly tempt you. Delete shopping apps from your home screen. These actions may sound insignificant, but they create small obstacles between the impulse and the purchase. And those few extra seconds can make a huge difference. The second strategy is the waiting rule. If you see something you suddenly want, don't immediately buy it. Wait. For a small purchase, give yourself at least 10 minutes. For something expensive, wait 24 hours or even longer. During that time, ask yourself 3 questions. Do I actually need this? Would I still want it if there were no discount? And would I buy it if I had never seen the advertisement? If the answer becomes no, you probably just experienced an impulse. The third strategy is to identify your emotional triggers. Notice when you usually shop impulsively. Is it when you're bored, stressed, lonely, tired, or maybe when you feel like you deserve a reward? Once you recognize the pattern, you can replace the behavior. Instead of opening a shopping app when you're bored, take a walk. Instead of buying something after a stressful day, listen to music. Instead of rewarding yourself with another purchase, do something that actually makes you feel better. Because the goal isn't to eliminate pleasure. It's to stop using shopping as your automatic emotional escape. And finally, remember this. You don't have to win every battle against temptation. You just need to stop making decisions at the exact moment your emotions are strongest. Pause. Wait. Think. Then decide. Because an impulse usually feels powerful right now. But it often becomes much weaker with time. The next time you feel that sudden urge to click buy, don't ask yourself only, can I afford this? Ask something more important. Do I actually want this? Or did something just make me want it? That question puts you back in control. And once you learn to recognize the triggers, impulse buying stops feeling like something that happens to you and becomes something you can choose to control.